Hello everyone, this is Domina Mara, and today I would like to talk about my trip to Chicago. It was my first stop on my US tour and the first trip that I went on myself this year for work and of course for play. Before I get to that, I would like to thank all of my new YouTube subscribers as well as my new followers on Instagram and on Twitter. I have stopped hashtagging dominatrix and femdom because I am not getting found in the searches via Twitter anymore, which is really unfortunate. So no new clients can find me, but luckily Instagram is a little bit more forgiving, and I've been trying to post as PG as possible so that I don't offend anybody, or if it's not 100% PG, I try to cover up any naughty bits. So please support me by following me on my Instagram and my Twitter accounts. I will be heading to Washington, D.C. next. That is in April on the 11th, and I will be there until the 16th, that Tuesday. So be sure to catch me then. It'll be my first time in that city. And then in May, I will be in Denver for the first time as well, from the last week of April, which is the 29th to May 3rd. And I will be in LA all other times. Okay, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. I am filming this in Chicago. This is a space that I'm staying at. I rented a loft, and I wasn't able to visit the dungeon space that I wanted to, but I ended up having sessions that were completely doable in this space. While I was looking for places to stay, this came up and I just fell in love immediately, and it inspired me to create a film. I am an artist first and foremost, so what I'm trying to do is collaborate with other artists, filmmakers, photographers, models who are kink friendly, even if they're non-practicing or not a part of the community, because my goal as an artist is to break the misconceptions between the scary dungeon aspect of play. That is a huge part of it, and a lot of fetishism is ascertained in dungeon spaces. Do not get me wrong. However, I don't feel like I necessarily need a dungeon space for play. It's nice to have equipment. It's nice to have the environment if somebody really fetishizes that and wants to break away from the world for a bit as an escape. However, for me personally, I love spaces that really inspire me, hence this space. When I found this place, it's in Wicker Park, it's in an artist community, and I came up with a concept immediately. Since I wanted to come here in March, I thought about what holiday or what season is good to represent March, and St. Patrick's Day popped up. I am not Irish. I am Chinese, Filipino, and Spanish. I also didn't know that coming here on St. Patrick's Day weekend was going to be super busy, because this is probably the second most populated Irish community in the United States, at least in the East Coast to Midwest area, Boston being a huge one, but I didn't know that Chicago was another hub. So almost half my clients were not able to see me because they were seeing family this weekend or had plans with friends, and that was a learning experience on my end. However, I really loved the whole idea of luck and like green and shamrocks, and what does that color mean to me? It means growth, it means wealth. It's the color of jade in Chinese culture, so that kind of tied in with the luck and fortune aspect of things. I kind of created this mood board based on the photos that I saw of this space, because I was like, what would be good to represent maybe a lady of luck? I do a lot of my photography with a remote and with a tripod, as you guys may or may not know, or I'm always art directing whoever I am collaborating with. I want to create more films, short films, because I feel like that is a better avenue for storytelling, for one, and it also is another art form that I've actually studied and I have an affinity for. So I looked up cinematographers that were here in Chicago. I found a couple, but the one that I ended up going with, we collaborated really well together. He was just really happy that I did 90% of the pre-production work because I had a vision, I'm an artist, and I know how to execute it. And I've also worked in the film and entertainment industry for a few years. I'm also an illustrator, so I drew out these storyboards of what I wanted to happen, using the space, trying to project perspective, and also layering symbolism as I wanted to portray this Lady of Luck. You may have to watch the film several times, but I will be releasing it at the end of the month, hopefully. It was a whole day shoot. It was 8 to 10 hours. Let me tell you, I had a lot of issues finding models, especially female models. They were so flaky. A lot of them were interested. There were professional models who were either booked or wanted to get paid a certain amount, and I was already budgeting for the space as well as for the cinematographer. I was like, look, I will have food and refreshments. So I bought sandwiches for everybody and chips, and I had orange juice and water and tea and coffee and everything that they needed to kind of sustain themselves for the whole day. But I was really lucky because male models were actually from FetLife, jumped in. One of them I found a month in advance, which is when I started advertising for my film, and the other one reached out to me months ago, like 8 months ago, and I was able to reach out to him. He already had passed out on St. Patrick's, like on the 16th, but woke up at 1 a.m. in the morning, and I was actually doing the same thing. I passed out the night before, but then I woke up because I had, anxiety about the film the next day, and I just started messaging people that I knew were in Chicago who had reached out to me, who knew I was going to be here for personal play or just to meet up as fellow Kingsters. And he responded, one of these guys responded, and he was here. Both of them were here on time. They were super sweet, really, really open to the project. They actually liked the concept a lot, very helpful in the shoot, and I'm very grateful. That was my moment of luck in this whole debacle. Cons of what happened. I got my period literally 10 minutes before my first session here. It was breath play and leg and foot worship with someone, and he took his lunch break to meet with me. It was the Friday after I arrived. He had a wonderful time. And then the session that I was supposed to have after my shoot ended up canceling because he had a flat tire, so that was unfortunate, but hopefully I get to see him again in the future because he sounded nice. That was more sensual domination, so we both missed out on that one. And my other session that I had was a 3-hour bondage and sensory sensual play. I started out with rope, a little bit of impact with cropping, a little bit of exhibitionism at my window with another bondage tie that included a crotch rope and clothespins on the nipples. And then I ended up doing what I consider my masterpiece in the play version while I was here, which was complete mummification. And before I got here, I bought bubble wrap, which I actually have right beside me. It was just rolls of bubble wrap, and I wanted to wrap my prey in it and then pop the bubbles as I played with him. Rolled up, I put this hood on him. You can also see photos that I took behind the scenes. He was very open to having me film stuff, so you have footage right here of all that happening, and it was just so fun. I was timing it out perfectly, and unfortunately, he climaxed without my permission, and also early, so I had my magic wand all ready to go, but then barely got to use it because he was excited, and this was the first time I was able to mummify somebody and have them climax without even me touching them. I mean, I wrapped his balls in rope, but I guess he just was so excited about everything happening that it just happened. So I let him stay in bondage for a little bit and kind of gave him body pressure. And I wrapped him in green tape, which is a color that I've never used before, to kind of go with my green theme with the whole Lady Luck thing, and it was just fantastic. I had a wonderful time getting to know him and letting him ease back into the world. That was really fun. I was also able to visit the Palm Court, which is at the Drake Hotel, owned by Hilton, and it was a really lovely experience. I was hoping I would have gone with a companion, but I went by myself and treated myself out to a nice tea on my last full day here in Chicago, and there was a harpist there, and she played a lot of amazing classical music, some Irish music that I actually know because I used to also play piano and flute. She also, for those who are cinephiles, played Jan Tiersen, which is the composer for Amélie, the French film. And I was extremely happy about that and approached her and said thank you. And I thought it was really cool that she had an iPad to display her sheet music, which is like super high tech and, well, you know, fits the bougie theme. But she was really nice and really lovely, and I had a really good time. So other than that, it's been interesting. This is my third time in Chicago. I've come here a couple of times exclusively for a client, so this is my first time on my own, booking my own sessions and doing my own things, and kind of visiting like a neighborhood that I've never been to before. I was usually close to the water or close to, you know, Miracle Mile, but I did not go out on St. Patrick's Day. It was really crazy outside. I was doing my film during that time, and from 12 noon past midnight, I counted 10 or 11 ambulances, different sirens that kept going back and forth, and it was nuts. The first one was right at noon, and then there were about 7 that happened in 1 hour at 8 p.m. and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. There were like fights happening below, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna stay in for the day. And everybody was super nice to me. I had a really wonderful time. My flight did get canceled on Monday, but I was able to rebook. The 737 Boeing planes were grounded because there were 2 plane crashes, and so everybody was scrambling to the next flight or the last flights that they could to go back. So instead of having a non-stop flight, I will be having a stopover at Vegas for about an hour, and I'll get back into Los Angeles at nighttime. But all in all, it was a really great experience. I had a lot of fun doing this film. Please subscribe so that you could check it out. And like I said, it's an art piece that kind of was inspired by this place. I will be doing another film soon in May, and that will be hopefully with a female this time, and that one is also inspired by the environment, and I will show you guys that when the time comes. It was a little bit longer of a video than usual, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this recap video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow all of my social media accounts. If you liked this, also please share so that more people can follow me as well. My previous videos can also be found here, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Be safe, have fun, and keep it kinky, everyone. Mwah.